There are a few other tab styles or ways to control your indent that will help you with layout in InDesign. I'm going to start by double-clicking to get inside this text box, and I'll zoom in a bit with Control plus or Command plus. I'll scoot over so that I could see the beginning and end of my text box. And just for a little review, the way this name, address, and phone area was created is if I click at the end and press Return or Enter and type email and hit Tab once, it was done with a leader, so that instead of white space, we get an underline where we would have white space when we press Tab. To see how that was set up, I'll scroll up a bit, leaving room above my text box for my tab ruler. And I'll choose Type and Tabs. And the ruler snapped perfectly to the top of my box. It's hard to see, but there's a little bent arrow here, which is the tab for these lines of text. And if it's selected, you'll see that there's a leader of an underline, so that I get an underline instead of white space. I might also want to add some more leading so that they have room to type in this document. And I'll click after phone and press Return or Enter twice. And I want to clear out this tab to do my next tab styles. So from the panel menu on the tab ruler, I'll choose Clear All. And let me just show you why I don't treat my computer like a typewriter. Many people, to do the form above, would type name and hold down the underline key to get those lines. Then on the next line, address, and hold down underline, or copy and paste, which is faster. And you don't need to do this. This is just for illustration purposes. So I'll copy that line, paste it to the next line, and then phone and paste. And you'll notice how none of these exactly line up. In fact, if I highlight this and change my font to something else, like Impact, it gets far worse. The text, because they're individual characters with letter spacing, rewraps down to new lines. So I'll delete all of that, and if I were to take this text above and highlight it, and change the font to something else like Impact, which you may or may not have installed on your system, all of the line endings are still perfect because it is done with a leader and not done with individual underlines going all the way across the page. So I'll undo the font change, and I'll click back on this line, and I'll make sure that all the tabs are cleared out. We're going to place some text to do a few more tab settings. So I'll choose File, Place, and in the Assets folder in Text Files, I'll choose Tabs. And you'll notice here in the Announcements section, they did a manual numbered list. They typed the number, then hit Tab, and type the text. There are two ways to get this text to align perfectly. I can click in front of the T in this and choose Type, Insert Special Character, Other, and Indent to Here. That creates a hanging indent. I could see that hanging indent because under the Type menu, I have the hidden characters showing. If they're showing, it will say Hide, and you don't see them. To turn them on under Type Show Hidden Characters, this little cross symbol indicates that I've done a hanging indent. In fact, I can do that with my keyboard by hitting Command / on the Mac or Control / on Windows. Backslash is usually above your Return key and below your Delete key on the Mac, or above your Enter key and below your Backspace key on Windows. Or I can click on this last line, Type, Insert Special Character, Other, and Indent to Here, and you'll see the Control / shortcut. Many people are tempted to do that on the second line. they would click where the indent is off here and try to do type, insert special character, other, indent to here, but that's going to break everything. You never set the hanging indent, that's technically what it's called, on the second line. You set it on the first line, and wherever your cursor is sitting, everything below it in the same paragraph will come to that spot. So I will hit Command / or Control / and it hangs to here. In fact, I could do that at any spot. Click here, Command / or Control /. Click here, Command / or Control /. So I'm just going to hit Command Z or Control Z or Edit Undo until they're all gone, until I'm back to my original text. The even faster way to format this would be to highlight all 4 lines. And on your tab ruler, I'm not actually setting a tab, but I'm going to pull the bottom of these 2 triangles, my left indent, over to 1/2 inch. And then I'll separate the top portion by clicking on that top little triangle and pulling it to -0.25. And now every line hangs perfectly. A beautiful, easy way to format your text. I'll scroll down a bit, and now I want to use the center justified tab style. So I'll highlight from first quarter down to HP. And I might want to make sure that my indents are at 00 again, so I'll choose from the panel menu, Reset Indents, or you could simply just drag this bottom half back to 0, and it resets it. And I want to start with a center justified tab. So I'm choosing the second tab style, and I'll click in the white space above the ruler at about 1 1/4 inches. If you didn't get exactly 1 1/4 inches, you could double-click on the number in X and type 1.25 and press Return or Enter. And then a very cool feature to InDesign is this Repeat tab. From the panel menu, when I choose Repeat tab, I get a tab stop every 1 1/4 inches. Beautiful. Now with these last 4 lines, I actually want to align the decimals. So I'll highlight from IBM down to HP, and I'll click this first tab style. It's highlighted in blue, so I have the tab or the arrow selected, and I'll click Align to Decimal. And when I align to decimal, all the periods line up. And then I could simply choose Repeat tab. And now in all the other figures, the periods line up. But this Align On character could be anything. All of these have the number 4 in them. So if I change the Align On to the number 4 and press Return or Enter, all the 4s are perfectly aligned. But I'll set that back to a period and press Return or Enter. And the last example would be meeting times. If I press Tab and I have a 7 a.m. start for a meeting time and a 10 a.m. start with a tab in front, I can highlight these 2 lines. And for the Align On character, I can type a colon and press Return or Enter, and now the colons are lined up. So this is our tour of different tab styles and setting indents in InDesign.